In this training, we will go over the 2018 Form W-4 and provide instructions on how to properly complete this form. The IRS states that millions of taxpayers have this form completed incorrectly, which causes overpayment in income taxes. By properly completing this form, you could potentially realize a $200 to $600 increase in your monthly take-home pay. MyEcon does not guarantee you will receive an increase in your paycheck by adjusting your Form W-4. Results will vary based on each individual's unique financial situation. See a qualified tax professional if you are unsure about your form. Purpose: complete Form W-4 so that your employer can withhold the correct federal income tax from your pay. Consider completing a new Form W-4 each year and when your personal or financial situation changes. You are responsible for the accuracy of this form. Your employer uses the information that you provide to determine the amount of taxes withheld from your paycheck. Your Form W-4 should be updated once per year. The IRS releases a new Form W-4 each year. You should update your Form W-4 each year in case there are any changes. You should update your Form W-4 anytime you have life changes. This includes marriages, divorces, births, salary increases, job losses, and starting new businesses. Why Form W-4 is often incorrect? There are two big reasons why most taxpayers' Form W-4 is often incorrect. One, the Form W-4 is not updated annually. Instructions on the form suggest you complete a new Form W-4 annually. Two, exemptions are often confused with allowances. Many taxpayers skip over the Form W-4 questions and enter the number of people in their household, which is their exemptions. However, the Form W-4 is calculating the number of allowances that you have, which may be different from the number of exemptions that you have. Family status. We're going to use the Johnson's family as an example of how to properly complete the Form W-4. The information we will need to know before we can properly complete the Form W-4 is filing status, income, dependents, and age of dependents. The Johnson family is married, filing jointly. $100,000 combined income, with the husband earning $45,000 and the wife earning $55,000. Two dependents, ages 8 and 10. Personal allowances. We will now use the family status to determine the Johnson family's personal allowances. Question A. Enter 1 for yourself. We enter 1. Question B. Enter 1 if you will file as married, filing jointly. They will, so we enter 1 here. Question C. Enter 1 if you will file as head of household. The Johnson family is not filing head of household status. Let's take a look at what are the requirements to file head of household status. Head of household. Generally, you can claim head of household filing status on your tax return only if you are unmarried and pay more than 50% of the cost of keeping up a home for yourself and a qualifying individual. See publication 501 for more information about filing status. There are 6 items you should be aware of in relation to filing head of household status. 1. You must be unmarried on the last day of the year to claim head of household status for that calendar year. 2. You must have paid more than 50% of home upkeep costs. 3. The qualifying person must have lived with you for more than half the year. 4. If you have a child in college, you can still count them as a qualifying individual even if they stayed at college instead of at home. 5. A dependent parent who is a qualifying individual does not have to live with you to qualify as head of household status. And 6, paying child support does not qualify you as head of household status. Personal allowances. Question C. Enter 1 if you will file as head of household. The Johnsons are not qualified to file head of household, so we enter 0. Question D. Enter 1 if You are single or married filing separately and have only one job. Or you're married filing jointly, have only one job, and your spouse doesn't work. Or your wages from a second job or your spouse's wages or the total of both are $1,500 or less. The Johnson family do not meet any of these qualifications, so we enter 0. Question E, child tax credit. See publication 972, child tax credit, for more information. If your total income will be less than $69,801, $101,401 if married filing jointly, enter 4 for each eligible child. The Johnson's family has an income of $100,000. They are married filing jointly. They are qualified to claim 4 for each eligible child. They have 2 eligible children. 2 times 4 equals 8. We will enter 8 on line E. Question F, credit for other dependents. The Johnson family do not have other dependents. We enter 0. Question G, other credits. The Johnson family does not have any other credits. We enter 0. Question H, add lines A through G and enter the total here. We add A through G and we come up with 10. We enter 10 on line H. Complete all worksheets. For accuracy, complete all worksheets that apply. There are 4 reasons a person might need to complete additional worksheets. 1, they plan to itemize. 2, they have adjustments to income. 3, they have multiple job earners. 4, they have multiple jobs. In the case of the Johnsons, they meet 2 requirements. 1, they have started their MyEcon business and plan to make adjustments to income. And 2, they are married filing jointly and both work, making them a 2-earner household. Deductions and adjustments. Note, use this worksheet only if you plan to itemize deductions, claim certain adjustments to income, or have a large amount of non-wage income. Line 1. Enter an estimate of your 2018 itemized deductions. These include qualifying home mortgage interest, charitable contributions, state and local taxes up to $10,000, and medical expenses in excess of 7.5% of your income. See publication 505 for details. The Johnsons will not be itemizing, so we will enter 0. Line 2. Enter $24,000 if you're married filing jointly or a qualifying widower. Enter $18,000 if you're a head of household. Enter $12,000 if you're single or married filing separately. The Johnsons are married filing jointly, so we will enter $24,000. Line 3. Subtract line 2 from line 1. If 0 or less, enter 0. 0 minus 24,000 gives us a negative 24,000, which is less than 0. So we enter 0. Line 4. Enter an estimate of your 2018 adjustments to income and any additional standard deduction for age or blindness. See publication 505 for information about these items. Let's take a look at what consists of adjustments to income. Adjustments to income. On page 8 of publication 505, you will find items that create adjustments to income. In the case of the Johnson family, they have recently started their MyEcon business. It is estimated that they will have a net loss from their MyEcon business their first year in business. Those net losses will come from the Schedule C, where they will write off expenses such as car and truck expenses, communications, travel, meals, and wages. If you are new in the MyEcon business and did not have a Schedule C last year, enter no more than $4,150 on line 4 of the deductions and adjustment worksheet. If you did file a Schedule C last year and you expect your Schedule C to be the same, Use the numbers from your last year's Schedule C. Line 4. Enter an estimate of your 2018 adjustments to income and any additional standard deduction for age or blindness. See publication 505 for information about these items. This is the Johnsons' first year in business, and they do not have a Schedule C from last year. We will enter $4,150. Line 5. Add lines 3 and 4 and enter total. We add lines 3 and 4 and we come up with $4,150. Line 6. Enter an estimate of your 2018 non-wage income, such as dividends or interest. The Johnsons do not have any non-wage income, so we enter 0. Line 7. Subtract line 6 from 5. If 0, enter 0. If less than 0, enter the amount in parentheses. We subtract line 6 from 5 and we enter $4,150. Line 8. Divide the amount on line 7 by $4,150 and enter the results here. If a negative amount, enter in parentheses. Drop any fraction. We divide the amount on line 7 by 4,150 and we come up with 1. We enter 1 on line 8. Line 9. Enter the number from the personal allowances worksheet, line H above. We enter 10. Line 10. Add lines 8 and 9 and enter the total here. If 0 or less, enter 0. If you plan to use the 2 earners multiple jobs worksheet, also enter this total on line 1, page 4. Otherwise, stop here and enter this total on form W-4, line 5, page 1. We add lines 8 and 9 and we enter 11. Because the Johnsons are a 2-earner family, we will visit the 2 earners multiple jobs worksheet next. 2 earners worksheet. Note, use this worksheet only if the instructions under line H from the personal allowances worksheet direct you here. Line 1. Enter the number from the personal allowances worksheet, line H, page 3, or if you use the deductions, adjustment, and additional income worksheet on page 3, the number from line 10 of that worksheet. We enter the number 11. Line 2. Find the number in table 1 below that applies to the lowest paying job and enter it here. However, if you're married filing jointly and wages from the highest paying job are $75,000 or less, and the combined wages for you and your spouse are $107,000 or less, don't enter more than 3. The Johnsons' lowest paying job is $45,000. They are married filing jointly, and the highest paying job is $55,000. Based on the instructions, the Johnsons will not enter more than 3 on line 2. Let's take a look at table 1. Table 1. Find the number in table 1 that applies to the lowest paying job. In the case of the Johnsons, we're going to look in the married filing jointly column. The lowest paying job is $45,000. Based on that, the table shows us a number of 6 to place on line 2. However, remember, the Johnsons also qualify for the statement if married filing jointly and the wages of the highest paying job are $75,000 or less, and the combined wages are $107,000 or less, do not enter more than 3. So even though the number is 6, we will not enter more than 3 on line 2. Line 2, enter 3. Line 3. If line 1 is more than or equal to line 2, subtract line 2 from line 1. Enter the result here. If 0, enter 0. And on form W-4, line 5, page 1. Do not use the rest of